Hello and welcome to Dice and Demons. I'm Emma and today I want to show you how I painted Makari from the Saga of the Beast set. In my army though, he's not going to be called Makari, he's going to be called Ferdinand. For those of you who have seen my video about the kill team, this will make total sense. But otherwise I can tell you that for my very first game in my very first campaign in kill team, I had a leader called Ib, an orc leader with a grot on his back. And he died mysteriously from just a flesh wound. And we all completely agreed that it was probably because of the grot on his back who had actually stabbed him in the back. So this is the now infamous Grot Ferdinand to have taken charge of my new kill team. So I'm going to be playing my next game Wednesday, so one day from now, and I decided that I'd better get him painted. So here you have Ferdinand, the luckiest and perhaps also sneakiest grot alive. So first up I start by painting his skin. I use the contrast color Volupus Pink. I think it gives a nice base for his skin color here. I go over this part of the model relatively quickly because I know I want to do shading and stuff later on. Then I use the Yandan yellow to do his clothing and also parts of the banner as well. I wanted to fit in with the rest of my Bubblegum Boys army, so I make sure I use the spot colors for the army, the yellow, the red and the turquoise. To be honest, I don't really like the look of yellow and pink together like this, but as I know I'm going to put on a lot more color later on, I don't mind too much the way it looks right now. And then I use the red. This is also contrast paint. It's called Blood Angels Red. And it gives a nice deep red color, which I really like. And again, red, yellow and pink, it's not a very good look, but I'm confident that it'll look better once I'm done with the whole thing. Then I use my very favorite contrast paint, the Aethematic Blue. It gives this really nice shiny blue color, I think. And I'm already way happier looking at this now. As soon as the turquoise was added, I think it started coming together a bit more. And now I'm painting the back of the shield with the contrast paint Black Templar. I didn't want that part to look too fancy because I think we have enough crazy colors going on at the moment. I used the contrast paint Pterodon Turquoise to paint the banner. It's just a darker version of the Aethematic Blue almost. A nice rich color which I really like. I highlight his skin with a mixture of the P3 paint Murderous Magenta, awesome name, and Matte White from Army Painter. And that's the first layer of highlights. And then I go off to my second layer of highlight, which is a mixture of matte white and a pigment from PK Pro called Cyclam Red. It gives a really shiny, bright, almost fluorescent pink. You have to be a little bit careful with this because it is really bright, so it can almost light up an entire room on its own, but I think it works pretty well for this project. Next step is doing the darker highlights on the banner, and I use the Gryph-hound Orange contrast paint for the yellow bits. I try to be a bit careful on how I apply it. I don't want to have to paint over too many parts again. So I just go around all the edges with the Gryph-hound Orange. For the darker highlights on the red, I use the contrast paint Gore Grunter Fur. It's a bit hard to tell here on the video, and it's not the most vivid color either in real life, but I think it gives a nice sort of depth to the red color. The Aethematic Blue is highlighted with Pterodon Turquoise, so that also binds it together a little bit with the banner as well. The banner will be highlighted later on though. On a smaller model like this is not very time consuming, but on the bigger models such as the Death Dread for instance, this takes quite a bit of time. So it's actually pretty nice to get to do this just on a small model and see the effects coming together so quickly. I then do the lighter highlights. On the yellow parts I use the Citadel color Flash Kids Yellow. And I also use that on the red, and on the red I also use a Vallejo's Orange Fire underneath it. So, but here I'm applying the yellow. I really love doing this step of the painting process because I think it makes it gives you an idea of what it will actually look like when it's finished. There is sort of an ugly duckling step in the middle where it looks a bit weird, but now it's starting to come together and I really enjoy that part. The last highlight for the yellow is the Wraithbone color, also from Citadel. I use that a bit more sparingly than the yellow. I don't want it to take over too much. I want it to be still more yellow than white all of a sudden. The lighter highlight over the blue is done with the Army Painter Matte White. I think the blue parts are what really make these models pop the most. So I enjoy applying that very much, and I usually save it until I'm almost done with the model, so I have that to look forward to the entire way through. The last thing I'm doing here is highlighting the banner. I use a layer of mood green from Citadel, which is just a nice peaceful green color. Once I'm done with that, however, I apply Vallejo's Game Air Light Library Green, which is sort of a neon green. And I thought that was going to be the last step, but then I decided that it looked way too toned down. So I then went with the game color also from Vallejo called Fluo Yellow. So you can probably imagine that it's a almost neon green. And then last up, I just applied slight touches of yellow just to make sure that it really stands out and really pops. There is no such thing as less is more in my origami. I do a tiny bit of cross hatching on the banner just to give it a bit of texture, but not too much. I don't want it to be what you notice. I want you to pay more attention to the edges of the banner. And here I have the model all done. This was such a fun project. I painted him in a single day, which is very fast for me at least, and I was having a lot of fun with it. I'm not sure I think it's a very elegant model. I mean, neon green, neon pink, yellow, red, turquoise. There's probably way too much going on, but I don't care. I think it's fun, and I think he will be awesome to use in my kill team as my sneaky grot leader. And I especially enjoy the fact that he's actually got this small dagger attached to his back. The model comes with it, and that's very fun since the story about Ferdinand here is that he stabbed his orc leader Ib in the back to take over the control of the kill team. So that's even more fun. This was very enjoyable to paint. And even though I know that my painting style with the orcs sometimes hurts people's eyes, I'm sorry about that, I just have to say I'm having a blast painting these. So this was it for today. If you have something you want to show off on my Facebook group, the Dice & Demons Showroom, models or terrain or anything, you are more than welcome to join us there. I'll leave a link for that in the show notes below. So that was it for this time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.